the absolute only one that could save us right at that point was God.
The last patient Dr. Suresh Gadasali ever saw before he was murdered recounts the terrifying day inside the Healthy Heart Clinic. Bill Gardenhire was Dr. Gadasali's patient for 15 years. Thursday was his last appointment, and it ended with him hunkered down behind an exam table listening to gunfire.
In our top story tonight, CBS 7's Lauren Lanmon sat down to hear Gardenhire's story. She joins us now with that. Lauren?
For over an hour, Bill Gardenhire sat hiding in one of the clinic's rooms with his wife. He says he prayed and texted his daughter until the SWAT team kicked in his door. When shots rang out Thursday afternoon at the Healthy Heart Clinic near downtown Odessa, hundreds of people were put on high alert.
Totally chaos, people yelling, gunshots, my wife screaming.
Only those inside the clinic could know the real dangers. Retired ECISD teacher Bill Gardenhire was one of them.
Full stress-inducing situation.
Bill had just finished consulting with Dr. Suresh Gadasali and was going to do some more tests in the sonogram room.
He was in a good mood. We were laughing. Everything was fine there.
Then everything went wrong.
The technician was doing the sonogram when we first heard gunshots.
A couple of gunshots later, the technician runs towards Gadasali. Bill cracks the door and looks down the hall.
I could see one of the techs standing with their hands in the air screaming, "Don't shoot, don't shoot."
Almost immediately, Bill locks the door, flips the exam table over, and hides, doing the only thing he says felt right.
My wife had been praying, and I started praying because we knew the absolute only one that could save us right at that point was God.
Not knowing where the shooter was, the couple didn't want to call attention to themselves. They started texting their daughter to alert the police and let them know what was happening inside the clinic. A few minutes later, help arrived.
You can't escape. There's no way out.
For more than an hour, Bill and his wife sat hiding in the sonogram room, listening to the police on the other side of the door, slowly piecing together that their doctor and friend had just been murdered. For now, the Healthy Heart Care Clinic remains closed, and Bill and his wife says that they have already made arrangements with another cardiologist here in the Permian Basin. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Lauren Lanmon, CBS 7 News.
For the past few days, we've brought you an in-depth look at the police investigation into the case of Dr. Suresh Gadasali's murder-suicide.
Earlier this week, we received all of the written police documents. Tonight, we are the only ones with the exclusive video and the voice recordings from the crime scene, police interviews, and 911 calls, which include witness and family accounts.
CBS 7's Lauren Lanmon has been pouring through hours worth of video tonight. She joins us now with that story. Lauren?
Jay Tatum, the images and voice recordings are chilling. It's the first time we hear from those who witnessed it all just moments before, and you'll see it only here on CBS 7 News. We've shown you the chaos from behind the crime tape. Now, in exclusive video only obtained by CBS 7, we go inside for the first look. On June 11th, patient and business partner Ayasami Thangam walked into the Healthy Heart Center. Thangam had already been at the doctor's office earlier that morning for a checkup. This time, he showed up without an appointment. Nurses allowed Thangam to wait for Dr. Gadasali in an exam room. Moments later, Dr. Gadasali walks in. That's when witnesses say Thangam fired shots, hitting the doctor.
A patient shot the doctor. Please hurry.
Nurses plead for help even as they hear more gunshots as they talk to dispatchers. Police arrived to find both Dr. Gadasali and his patient, Ayasami Thangam, dead. Eyewitnesses are taken downtown to the police station, many too shaken up to even comprehend what really just happened. Nurses fall to their knees praying for their co-worker and explain in detail to police what happened.
I can't even think straight. He shot him. He shot him.
¿Qué pasó? What happened? Y el señor que tenía la pistola me apuntó a mí.
Hours later, news is released that Dr. Gadasali didn't make it. His wife is first to find out, and video shows state troopers sitting her down to let her know. And moments later, she tells her children. Again, we did just receive this video late this afternoon. We still have hours of it to sort through, and we'll continue to bring you the updates. Reporting in the studio, I'm Lauren Lanmon, CBS 7 News.
We begin tonight with continuing coverage of a story we first brought you. Last night, we received all of the documents on the police investigation into the Healthy Heart Center murder-suicide that happened last month, leading to the death of well-known Dr. Suresh Gadasali.
The records lay out a story revealing that money was the issue between the two families and have been for the past 2 years. Tonight, CBS 7's Lauren Lanmon continues an in-depth look at what really happened in the days leading up to the shooting. Lauren?
As we told you last night, a failed business venture between the two families started the money problems around 2 years ago. When the Thangham family began asking for money back from Dr. Gadasali, he threatened to sue the family for defamation of character. But according to records, a settlement was made outside of court 2 days before the shooting, costing the Thangham family around $200,000. Just one more monetary problem for the Thanghams. Police records showed text messages sent 9 days before the shooting are some of the first signs police have that show Ayasami Thangham was suffering with mental health problems and looked to possibly hurt himself. Dr. Shanti Thangham sends Dr. Suresh Gadasali this text message saying that her husband scared her and said at one point, quote, he was going to die. When asked why, she said it's because he had lost everything when coming to America. At that, she continues to say that she will care for him and that he is, quote, a good man at heart. That's where the text stopped, but the story continues now just 6 days before the shooting when Ayasami Thangham walks into the Rusty Spur gun shop to purchase a gun. According to documents, he stayed at the shop for over an hour, learning how to shoot as well as the safety of the firearm. The man selling him the gun tells police that Mr. Thangham was not listed as an individual ineligible to own a firearm. With that, Mr. Thangham pays and leaves. Now 2 days before the shooting, the Thanghams and Dr. Gadasali gather for dinner to discuss their agreement to settle the lawsuit. According to Dr. Thangham's close friend and office manager, Domingo Lopez, Dr. Gadasali had arranged for the dinner, even telling her what she had to cook. In the report, Lopez describes Dr. Gadasali as a control freak, claiming he would at times even try to run her office. The night before the shooting, reports show Mr. Thangham was helping other co-workers paint his wife's office. The next morning, Dr. Thangham tells police that she found a box of bullets in her desk. She then asked her employees if they had placed them in her desk. They all denied it, saying maybe Mr. Thangham had done it the night before. Dr. Thangham denied that, saying, quote, it couldn't have been her husband's because Sammy didn't own a gun. The employees then debated if they should turn it into police with the assumption that it could have been one of her mental health patients trying to threaten her. However, she said she wanted to wait until she was able to ask her husband. Multiple calls to Mr. Thangham were never returned, but because he had an appointment with Dr. Gadasali early in the morning, she thought her husband was just busy. Hours later, sirens and police filled the downtown area. Only then did Dr. Thangham believe her husband was behind the gun. Nurses and patients give their side of the story to police, saying Dr. Thangham went to his appointment early in the morning but returned in the afternoon. Without thinking there was any kind of problem between the two, nurses let him wait in exam room number 4. It didn't take long before nurses heard a commotion in the room. One nurse, Blanca Chavez, tells police she heard the shots, ran to the room, and heard Dr. Gadasali say, "Oh my God." She opened the door and saw Mr. Thangham standing over him. Mr. Thangham sees Chavez and points the gun at her. Chavez tells police that she ran back to her room at that point, and that's when she heard the final gunshot that killed Mr. Thangham. In an interview with police, Dr. Thangham reports that she didn't know why this incident took place or why it happened on that day. She also adds that she did not suspect anything and believed everything was okay. In the studio, I'm Lauren Lanmon, CBS 7 News.
Lauren, thanks. According to the autopsy report, Dr. Gattasali was shot 3 times, once in the neck, once in the chest, and once in the right forearm. Thangham had a gunshot wound to the mouth that went through his brain. Autopsy papers list that his death was a suicide.